Today's reading are for those who would like to receive a message about their career and or business. This is going to be an open reading, so we don't have any specific theme or topic that we are reading upon today. We're going to get current energy and what you need to know about your career and or business at the moment. So for anyone new here, my readings aren't predictive or superficial. They tend to go below the surface where the deep inner work is done. And this isn't always comfortable or easy, but can be a powerful catalyst for long-term change. And this is why I love it so much. But know that this isn't for everyone. And because we're going beyond the story, the messages that come through may not be immediately resonant. So take your time with it and consider how the messages might apply. And then use your discernment to choose what you would like to take and or leave. Timestamps today are in the description. For those who would like a close-up of the Soul Path cards today, let me do that right now. For Soul Path 1, we have number 54. Soul Path 2, we have number 70. And for Soul Path 3, we have number 25. And it was in reverse, so I might consider that when we get into your reading today. When you feel called and ready, head into the description, click the timestamp for your reading, and we'll see you over there. For those who chose number 54, welcome into your message. So your career right now might be feeling quite challenging. You may be going through a period of despair or difficulty, challenge, change. There could be a lot going on within the mind as well. And when I initially looked at this card, I saw the Four of Swords down at the bottom here. And this card is associated with the Five of Swords, and I could not find the fifth sword. But it's laying down. So there's a sense of defeat and a stepping back to recover into some kind of willful surrender. And this doesn't necessarily giving up on your career, giving up on a specific path. But what I'm getting here is that there are new options that have opened for you that may not feel like options. They may not feel ideal. And they may feel unexpected even, like you weren't expecting something to happen. You weren't expecting yourself to be in this place. So there is a perspective shift that I feel is required in order for you to see the options you have in front of you at this time, even through the difficulty and despair. Now, that's not to ignore the difficulty and despair. You must face that, feel that, move through that, understand it, if that fits, obviously. But there is a sense of working with the mind here. And also, too, I feel like there could be an overwhelm of where to go next. Because again, I'm just getting that unexpected energy. So whether you have lost a job suddenly, whether your business has stopped working in the way that it once did, you're no longer earning the way that you once did, and you're having to make really tough decisions, I feel like you're at this place of maybe not one crossroads, but many. And trying to figure out what to do, where to go, how to choose, what's next. There could be a lot of inner conflict within you and also some conflict with others as well as you work through this. So yeah, there's like a difficult conversation that you've had or have had to have with someone. Let's see what else. Resurrection with the California poppy. What am I feeling with that? Let's keep going. And between dreams. Yeah. There's a lot of sort of nighttime energy here. So I feel you are in this moment of possibly a dark night of the soul where a lot of things are coming into question. And you are maybe resurrecting an old dream. But I definitely think you're in somewhat of an in-between space, a valley of despair, valley of shadows is what I'm hearing as well. So both of these cards with the California poppy and the mugwort, which are side by side in the book, this speaks to me of some kind of slow, quiet progression. And the growth right now that you would like to see is not happening in the external world. This feels like an ebb rather than a flow. This is a real coming into oneself and pulling back some kind of energy here from what it is that you've been trying to achieve, which hasn't been working. Now, the California poppy speaks about opening the petals by day and closing by night. And also not having a fear of the night. So again, I'm just feeling that closing down again. And understanding cycles. You know, when we think about the moon, when we think about the rhythms of nature, the opening and closing, the day and the night, you are in a season of metaphorical rest right now. And you may not want to be, which could be that tension. Now, the mugwort is also very similar, where it lives in the space between deep rest and waking. She is the daughter of moonlight and the protector of those who travel the dream time. So again, it's this in-between state and a journey as well, allowing this particular plant to be a part of this journey of in-between. You could also be having a lot of dreams that could either be helpful or could even assist you into and towards what is next. So pay attention to your dreams if you do dream work, if you do dream analytics. That might be helpful for you at this time. But this respite, this rest, this quietude, this season of, I don't even want to say stagnancy, because I do feel there is movement happening. It's just in a different direction. It is a season, and it won't be like this forever. So let's see a little more maybe we'll get a couple of specifics and then we'll get into what else you need to know. A couple more specifics. No, I'm being told what you need to know. Let's go. For Soul Path 1, what is it they need to know about this space? Maybe how to navigate through. Yeah, the Chariot. It's just reaffirming what we already talked about here. We have the Chariot, we have the 8 of Swords, Chariot in reverse, 8 of Swords in reverse, 9 of Wands, and we'll get one more. Yeah, you have worked really hard to get to where you are, so I feel like there's a bit of a frustration. And then you have the 3 of Pentacles in reverse. So, yeah. You're ready. You're ready. I see your readiness here. And the time will come where you can put on the gas again. But, bottom of the deck. Right now is not one of those moments. Either right now is a redirection. Right now is all about some kind of internal growth that you have to work through in order for you to have the stamina, the energy to continue moving forward. And that moving forward might be in a new way. So I'm going to actually put these over here because I feel this is like a stopping to look inward. And then this is what's happening in this space. Is that you've built some set of skills. You've You have some kind of energy and willpower to continue moving forward, but it's not about moving forward in the same way anymore. It's about releasing yourself from some kind of limitation, because maybe more is possible here. You haven't come to the end of the road quite yet. It's like you haven't come to the end. This is like a turning point. This is the midpoint of your journey. So pace yourself is part of this message here. Pace yourself. Look at where your limiting beliefs are. Use this moment as an opportunity to recalibrate, because there could be some things that may need to be released, that may not be working, that may not be aligned. But if anything, work with the mind to release any attachments you might have to what you expected, to the outcomes that you were wanting, because maybe there are bigger, better, more expansive options available to you that you haven't explored yet. And so this moment is really teaching you to explore other ways, other options, other possibilities. And a lot of the times our minds can be very limited and can keep us really focused on it has to be this certain way, not because that's what you set out, but that's kind of all you can see at the moment. So this is helping you see something differently. It's helping you see more. When there is darkness is when we can see the stars. And when we think about the dark moon specifically, where the moon completely disappears for a couple of days before the new moon, other stars can kind of present themselves that couldn't be seen before. So, yeah, because there is no light in the sky at all. There's no moon, there's no sun, there's neither. So that's kind of what I'm feeling here with that, is that you're in some kind of a dark moon period where it's kind of pushing you to see something new. And again, I'm just seeing all of I assume stars. It looks like snow, but I think they're stars in this original card. It's like once the smoke kind of fogs the way forward, then you can kind of broaden your perspective, broaden your horizons here. And the star in reverse. I don't know if I was subconsciously influenced by that, but yeah, it's reconnecting to some kind of purpose, maybe moving you through some kind of healing, which will help you in your career or your business here. So don't discount this and don't consider this moment a failure. This is a moment to realign yourself in some regard and to really pull back the reins so that you can do I'm hearing cleanup on aisle 3. I don't know why, but that's kind of what I'm feeling. There's some cleanup that might need to happen, but also there's some insights and maybe some intuition that you will gain through this moment of non-productivity, of difficulty, of change. So look at where your thoughts are going right now and start there. And then just explore what other options are available to you. Challenge your limited thinking right now. And see if there's other ways that you can grow or move forward or see opportunities, or simply just work on your mindset at this time. But I do see that there is a higher purpose here that is ready to be activated. And I feel it's just a matter of time. A matter of the changing of the seasons as well. Quite literally, could be the changing of the seasons. So that is the message I have for you, my dear Soul Path 1. I'd love to read how these messages resonated, so drop me a comment if you feel called to share. And if you made it this far and you want to go even deeper with me, check out the links in the description for more ways to connect. Thanks for being here and doing this work with me. I'll see you soon. For those who chose number 70, welcome into your message. I feel you are at a point of your patience being tested in this journey. Something has taken a really long time for it to become, and you're ready for it to be already. You're ready for the future to be here now. But what I'm getting from this card is to not rush the progress, to not rush to your future. And the ladder that you are trying to find in order to get to that level of success or move up the ladder, if you will, it's something that has to be built. I don't know if that's physically in the physical world. You have to build that business or actually physically build a business. I don't know. Or if it's your career, there could be some skill sets that you have to gain or some more experience in order for you to get that promotion. This feels like a very humbling message for you, my dear Soul Path 1. So I don't know what details will come out in the tarot, but stick around and see what happens here because the messages could change. And I just get that you don't want to hear being patient because you've been patient, and I see that. And there are new things that could be available to you, but again, it's something that you have to spend time to build up to. Whether that's success, whether that's getting new clients, whether that's getting the promotion. Patience is a virtue here. And also this could be a moment where you are able to either get into the details, get into the weeds of something, but also just really pay attention to what is actually working for you and what is not. What is the rush to gain that success or to gain that promotion? What's going on underneath that? What is the desire or the fear? And that might also help clarify what you need to I don't want to say attach to, but what you need to do or not do, what you need to get rid of. Because I feel there's some things within this circumstance that have been accumulating, but they haven't necessarily been working for you. So this could be a moment to pare back, to simplify, to get back to the basics, to add another skill. I'm not sure. So, perseverance with the dandelion. Again, kind of gives me that feeling of growth, of being patient in that growth process. We can't rush the growth of a mighty oak or a mighty hawthorn. So we have heart's home and appreciate the process. I didn't even see that as I was talking. Cow and bull. Yeah. I feel you are a very ambitious person. You have such a vision for your future. And again, I feel like it's possible because you have that drive, you have that heart, you have that perseverance within you. But now is the moment to not give up on that. Because you have it, because you've had it all this time, it's not a time to give up. This is like that moment where you double down on something and maybe release some other things and really continue to push forward one step in front of the other. Maybe you take some time to reflect. Maybe that's part of this process. It doesn't have to be rushed. So rather than pushing and pushing and pushing and getting frustrated, what if you were to pace yourself a little bit more? And I'm getting seasons with this heart's home because I'm just seeing all the different landscapes and cycles, but also being connected to different worlds. Using all of these elements, if you will, as a benefit or as a way to grow. I'm also just noticing this little door here. It's so tiny. And so I also feel that there are doors of opportunities that will open for you. But if you rush past this hawthorn too quickly, you're going to miss that door. If you don't stop to really look at something. and really appreciate where you are, where you stand, where you are finding yourself rooted, you're going to miss something. I don't know if that's an opportunity. I don't know if it's the latter. I don't know if it's some other detail. But slowing down could really be important to this process. And I'm seeing the pyramids in the background as well. Pyramids are built one brick at a time or one stone at a time. I don't know over how many years, but they weren't built overnight. And the star, there's something more meaningful here that you are working towards. So, yeah, if it still has that value, that meaning, that purpose, this is a message for you to don't give up. But also, take some time for yourself as well in this process. Slow things down. Especially if you feel frustrated or irritated, you don't want to bring that energy forth. Sometimes it's okay to give up for the moment, you know. 5 of Pentacles. Just getting a bit more energy on what's currently happening here, and then we'll get into what else you need to know. Yeah, there's somebody honking their horn in a very impatient way. And so, again, I feel like that's part of your message here. So 5 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups. Yeah, there's definitely a challenge here. Finances could be influencing this, but also your personal satisfaction. You want to get to some kind of end goal. You want to feel satisfied. You want to feel proud of your achievements. And right now that might be really tough. But this 5 of Pentacles, I have a new relationship with, because I'm seeing how it is showing up in my daily life when I do daily card draws and the 5 of Pentacles happens to show up. In the reverse, I'm finding that that's when some things are delayed, when I'm having the most struggles with money and finances and, you know, missing a bill payment, etc. But the 5 of Pentacles in the upright to me is like you're moving on from that moment, but you're not quite out of it yet. So I feel like you don't quite see yet that you're going to move through this moment. You're going to move through this challenge, this difficulty, this, I don't want to say stagnancy, but it may feel that way. But again, there could be some details, some financial things that have to be dealt with in this moment so that you can work towards more personal freedom, satisfaction, all of that good stuff. And I'm also seeing personal spending here coming through. So watch if finances is a thing that you're being challenged by at this moment, whether business or career, then really look at and pay attention to the details of your personal spending. So right now it might not be about making sure that you have all of the luxuries. I don't know your personal situation, but this is just what's coming through the cards as an example. So it's about paring back and really pulling back on some of those luxuries. Yes, you might have to live without a streaming service or two, or get rid of some kind of subscription that is nice to have but isn't necessary. So getting rid of the unnecessary things could be really important here. And that may help. I don't know. And again, I'm just my guides keep just telling me, tell them to look at why they're rushing, why they're pushing forward, why you would like success. And this could be that pressure of the financial pressure of I have to earn a certain amount by the end of the year, or I have to earn this particular amount in order to make myself happy. So there's something there. And we have the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, there's a freedom here. And there's also a bit of a leaky bucket going on with the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. You know, that could be excessive spending or just looking at how you're spending your time, energy, money right now as well. But I do get really strong financial, more pentacle energy. So watch the business spending. If you're in a business, look at where the leaks are, look at what's necessary, what's not, and look at where you're investing your money and there's not that return on investment. So for example, if there is a skill set that you are trying to gain, really look to make sure that there's some kind of credential or something really solid that you're going to learn at the end of that course, that workshop, that semester, whatever it is, so that you can not just invest in yourself, but you're also investing in your business and your future at the same time. Because I just feel like there is an imbalance somewhere. There is I don't want to say an excess, but there is an overspending somewhere, or there is something within the budget that needs to be adjusted here. So I'm just going to leave that there because there's not much else that I can say. And that could be what's feeling really turbulent right now and also influencing this desire to succeed, but it's almost working against you because of that force. It's not allowing you to tap into what is actually needed in order for that long-term success. And then the world in reverse at the bottom here. So there is a cycle that wants to come to a close. There is some reflection that might be required in order to know what that is. This could be a habitual pattern of spending. This could be a habitual pattern of maybe the types of jobs you take on. Maybe you're not earning as much as you could be earning. So if this has to do with what you charge for your services, you might need to start charging more or finding ways to add more value to what you do charge. So if you are in a creative field, adding more rounds of revisions, for example, or maybe adding like a bonus follow-up question through email so that they can get that additional support. I don't know what field you're in. I don't know what business you run or what company you work with, but there is something here about values that's coming through as well, an assessment of what you feel you're worth, what you feel your services are worth, and maybe charging more for that because that could be it as well, where it's not about earning more money. It's about valuing your time more, valuing your services more, and having your clients value you more in the end as well. So yeah, there's a cycle of something that would like to come to a close. So it's kind of like looking back before you can move forward. And this is that reflection point, which is why I feel the energy is so slow. So I'm going to leave the reading here, my dear Soul Path 2. I'd love to read how these messages resonated, so drop me a comment if you feel called to share. And if you made it this far and you want to go even deeper with me, check out the links in the description for more ways to connect. Thank you for being here and doing this work with me. I'll see you soon. For those who chose 25, welcome into your message. Now, because this was in reverse, I'm being told that you're going to argue with me a little when I say this. But you have something to celebrate, and you might not be seeing it. Something that you have built. It might not be to your fullest expression, but you have laid the foundation for something. You have taken steps, taken actions that are helping you build upon some kind of future here with great commitment, great desire, great passion, and great will. But also, I feel like maybe I'm getting something else now. There's a second message coming through because this is in reverse. And we'll clarify with cards, and that might give us a better direction. But something that you have built is not working out, is not going the way you had hoped or planned. So there's maybe a giving up or a pulling back energy on this. So there could be a choice that you have made, or there was a choice that was made that has affected your foundations. And it may create a sense of change or challenge. So let's take a peek. Let's get a little more detail. What is this message about, Spirit? For Soul Path 3, their career and or business. What is this about? Soul Path 1 got that one as well. Might be helpful. Because I know what message was given in Soul Path 1, it could be that things are really challenging right now. But let's see. Remembrance. Has this happened before, Soul Path 1? 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. What is your name? Yeah, has this happened before? That's the strongest message that I'm getting with this. And there's also either a cycle you've moved through. Maybe this is a cycle that you are familiar with. You know, maybe you have a job and something happens, and a year down the road, 2 years down the road, you end up getting let go from that job. Or if it's a business, you know, you go a certain amount of time and then I don't know if there's a boredom that happens or if it's not working and then you start again. Yeah, there's just a starting over energy and a familiarity. This could also have to do with familial patterns as well. Bottom of the deck, pause, assess, act. Yeah, there's a... Ooh, I think the collective is going through a lot of rough stuff right now. Soul Path 1 got something similar with this moment of challenge and pausing, using this to pause. And even Soul Path 2 got it, but it was different. I want to look in the guidebook for this remembrance and see if we can find any other information here. There's a quote in the book, and it says, memory is a complicated thing, a relative to the truth, but not its twin. And that is immediately giving me this energy that what you are remembering in this moment may not be rooted in the exact truth. Not to say that the memory isn't truthful or isn't valid. I'm saying that this time is different, or this time can be different, or will be different. And it's all on how you move in this moment, what you choose in this moment, what you open and close yourself to in this moment. Really connecting in with your inner knowing. And that might be different than the truth that you are believing or understanding right now. So the one thing that I'm getting is challenging that truth a little and really being soft with yourself right now, especially if you're moving through a challenge. But also celebrating what you've learned up until this point. Because again, I'm just getting cycles. I'm seeing a spiral. So yes, maybe this feels familiar, but you're not the person that you were when you went through this the previous time or the time before that. Time has passed. You have learned. You are not repeating anything. And maybe that's the thing to celebrate. Let's get a couple more cards and get into what you need to know. 10 of Wands in reverse. There's a burden that's being relieved here, or a burden that is still being carried out of pride, and the 6 of Pentacles. I almost wonder if you're still in this. If you haven't quite moved through it yet, you're still in this moment very actively. So even if the foundations are kind of upturned, you're still trying to work through something here. It feels very active, even though something is not quite the way it was. Something is unstable, unsteady. Because the Ten of Wands in reverse tells me that you might still be carrying something from the past that needs to be released, or you're carrying some kind of burden to keep the balance. So it's like there's a foundation that is wobbly, that no longer is working in the way it once did, but you're still putting the work into keeping it balanced, to keeping it together. But the Six of Pentacles usually is this like reciprocity of this give and take, keeping this even balance here. Or maybe you are on the other side of it. You're going to have to let me know if you're still in this. Now I'm getting that maybe you're not, and that's how you've created some kind of balance, some kind of steadiness. Is that you've had to let go of what this is, because these two are both Wands energy. So automatically they're kind of connected, and they're both in the reverse. So maybe you decided, using your intuition and remembering some kind of cycle that you were in, that, okay, I can no longer carry this. We've been here before. We know what happens. So in order to keep the balance, to keep me balanced, to keep things running steady, running smooth, I have to let something go here. I can no longer take responsibility for something that I'm not being paid for example. And that might have been a tough thing to do. It could be rocking the boat, whatever you're doing here. There's some interesting messages coming through. Let's see. But I feel you're really trusting your intuition through all of this. Oh, well then. Wheel of Fortune. What else you need to know about this? Soul Path 3. One more, please. Woo, yeah. It's a good place to be. Wheel of Fortune and the Two of Pentacles. Because that means that you're moving through the change really well. And what's really needed right now, because you can't really control how these changes are, or the results from these changes, maybe that you've made, or maybe that's occurring around you. There's a lot that you can't control with this wheel. But understand that things are in motion and things are moving. And I don't want to call this a blessing in disguise because I don't know the situation. But you're following something here. You're following your intuition. You're letting the cards fall where they may by making some kind of choice. And you're not worried about the chaos that's going on around you. You're focusing on what's most important right now. And that is part of the guidance. If you aren't finding yourself there, is focusing on what's important through this change, finding your equilibrium, finding that balance is going to be really important. And this also came out in Soul Path 1. Soul Path 1 was more financial. No, that was Soul Path 2. Sorry. But yeah, you will have to make a choice here. And your choice may not necessarily be what you think it is. It's not about trying to change or fix the external right now. It's about what choices can you make in the practical, in the tangible, to be able to get yourself through this. This could be financial choices. This could be what you decide to spend your time on. Again, releasing those burdens, those responsibilities that aren't yours to carry, that you're not being paid for. And also simplifying here. Something may be a little bit of a juggling act for a while as you kind of get back on your feet to find your ground again. Four of Wands in reverse. There you go. So to me, that's just reflecting the strongest energy that is kind of influencing this right now. And interesting. I'm just getting you're spilling the tea. So maybe you're no longer playing nice. And that doesn't mean you're being mean to people. but you're no longer out to please. You're kind of done with that. You want to have more reciprocal energy in your life, more reciprocal relationships, a business that even gives and takes in equal measure, which may not be possible at all times, but I feel like it has been taking a lot out of you. So again, it's like you're pulling up on the gas so that you can prioritize something that's really important. And that could be destabilizing in the process. Or I'm not sure which came first, chicken or the egg, but there's definitely an unsettled energy, which I really feel you're doing a good job moving through. So again, that celebration energy is coming through just in a different way than what we expected. But understand that there's a lot that you can't change in this situation. So all you can really focus on is the choices that you're making from here on out. And really getting clear about what you value in this moment and what you value in a job, in a business, in a company, in a boss, in employees, whatever kind of external things that you're dealing with. What do you really value here? So I feel you're kind of tossing around different thoughts about that as well. But what's really important here in this job? And how can I really focus my energy on that? So I'm going to leave it here, my dear Soul Path 3. I'd love to read how these messages resonated, so drop me a comment if you feel called to share. And if you made it this far and you want to go even deeper with me, check out the links in the description for more ways to connect. Thank you for being here and doing this work with me. I'll see you soon.